Awesome. Thank you so much. So welcome to the graphic design open house. So we have a little bit of a presentation for you so that we can show you some of the wonderful things our students have been up to, where they've gone after graduation, and really let you know what our program is all about. So just a quote to kick things off: design is thinking made visual. And I think that just put that in there just to kind of set the tone, because a lot of the times people kind of come into graphic design, I like art, and that's fantastic. And it's definitely an artistic medium. And you're going to put those skills to use. But design is so much more than, making something beautiful. It's solving problems, and it if I can be so bold, I'll say it changes the world, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, yeah. So our program is a 3-year program. We do have a January start as well as a fall start. And in our first year, you'll learn, you can see applied digital technology, and that is basically software. So that's where we're teaching you Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, and you're really going to have a strong foundation in the applications. We also have Design 1 and Design 2, and that's again building that foundation in design principles and theories. Typography 1 and 2. So you're starting to really understand type, letter forms, and again, building a foundation there. Drawing techniques, design appreciation is design history, color theory. So this is really setting you up with all of the skills that you need so that when you go into the second year in terms 3 and 4, you get to really try the specialty or niche areas of design. So that's where we have information design, packaging design, web design, editorial design, book design, motion graphics, corporate identity, branding, all of that type of stuff. So you get to try everything and really find where, what you like and where you excel, and kind of where you want to, push yourself in terms of your career. When you move into term 5 and 6 for your third year, after having experimented and tried all of these kind of different areas, you get to then do your thesis 1 and thesis 2 courses, which is where you get to really say, okay, I'm really interested in editorial. So I'm going to, design a magazine, and I'm going to do an online component, and I'm going to do this and that. And you basically decide what you're going to do. You do all the research to support it, and you create amazing portfolio pieces that when you graduate, people are excited to hire you because they can see all of the amazing things you can do. We also continue with web design in levels 5 and 6 with web design 3 and 4. So you have 2 years of web design. So you can really build strong web development, coding, and front end skills. We have professional practice, where we'll walk you through kind of the entrepreneurial skills. I don't know if that's the right word there, but that you'll need in order to, run a freelance business, to, just really set you up for success in that. And we'll get into all of the exciting, things about invoicing and estimates and all of that stuff. And then in your last term, you also have your social media marketing, where we go through all of the different platforms. We look at analytics, we look at strategies around that, so that you're prepared in terms of social media marketing, as that is a huge component to any sort of branding strategy these days. And finally, there's portfolio and exhibition, and that's where not only will you build your portfolio, as a class, you'll hold your exhibition, and you'll have your grad show, where we have industry come in and see your work and hire our grads. So, and it's also a big celebration of 3 years of hard work. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, that's kind of our program in a nutshell. So we have small class sizes, and that's something that's very, very important to all of the faculty in the program, because we're still lab-based. So meaning we have computers in our lab. We're not a laptop program. Many of our students do have laptops. And so if you have one, that's great, you can bring it. But because we are a lab program with computers in a physical room, we have a max of 25 students per lab, which means we can't have more than 25 students in a lab, which means that keeps our class sizes really small. So it's kind of one of those things that we're quite fortunate about. Also, if you're in the middle of the term and something goes wrong with your laptop, you're all right, because the labs are available to you. And at any time. So that's great. We have been online in the past for the past, I guess, almost 2 years or since COVID started. And we're returning this winter for 70% on campus. And so just if you're curious what 70% of a term looks like, if you have, 6 courses in a semester, you'd have 1 online and 5 in class. So it's a pretty good ratio for being back on campus, but still kind of having that online component, which can add some strength to, your ability to work remotely and so forth. And then same with our studios, because we have life drawing studios, we have a makerspace and so forth. Those have a max capacity as well, which keeps our class sizes really small. A question that often comes up at the open house is which software we use. And so we use the Adobe Creative Cloud and everything that's kind of connected there. So Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, After Effects, I don't know, is Premiere still a thing? I haven't used it in so long, but yeah, so basically the Creative Cloud is what we use for software. So I'm just going to tuck that image in there. In third year, all of our graphic design students become registered graphic designers, RGD, our accreditation body student members, and this gives all of our students an opportunity to be part of all of the resources that the RGD provides, including mentorship. There's different events throughout the year. There's all sorts of webinars and different things that students can participate in. There's portfolio reviews, so you can go and have various members of the industry review your portfolio, all sorts of fantastic things like that. Additionally, the RGD puts on a ton of, there's, monthly contests, and then they also have their annual student awards. And so we've had many of our students winning those awards lately, from the Hey RGD awards on Instagram, where students are asked to share their work, to the big kind of annual student awards. One of our students, Patrick, just won the Domtar Print Award and received a really nice cash prize. So definitely worth it. Recent grads, so what some of our students are up to. And I'm just trying to think. Jen, did you want to talk maybe? I don't know where you kind of want to jump in. And
I don't really have anything prepared, so whenever you feel you're done, I'll totally hop in.
Okay, perfect. I just didn't want to kind of, keep talking, basically. Sorry about that. Yeah, so let's look at some of our recent grads and where they are now. This is Sean O'Melia. This is an older picture actually, because he graduated in 2014, and he right out of school went to West 49, which was a perfect fit for him because he was really into skateboarding and snowboarding and all of that stuff. He went from West 49 was bought out, so he jumped ship and went to, no pun intended, to Boathouse. And he stayed there for a bit. He left and went to Cinnamon Toast, which was a more formal agency. He has, and then he kind of moved into more independent and freelance stuff. What you're seeing there, his Daydream sweatshirt and the Daydream skateboards and so forth, there is just a passion project that he also did on the side that did very well. He sold out of all of his boards and stuff like that. He is currently, he's also been doing all sorts of different, he had a very successful freelance business. He was working with TELUS Health, and then now he is working, I just saw him the other day and he just told me, but I can't remember the name of it, but now he's working for a gaming company and he's all involved in like NFTs and all these things that are, kind of mind blowing. So a really, really fun career for sure. If you just want to go to the next slide, I think I included. Yeah, so while he was at Cinnamon Toast, Sean had an opportunity to develop this, which was a seal for Beverly McLaughlin, Canada's 17th Chief Justice. And then she was presented the award. You can see the picture there of the Prime Minister below below Sean's seal or badge, and then you can see Justice Beverly McLaughlin accepting the award below with, again, all of this designed on it, or all of Sean's design and branding on it. So it was a really big moment for him, but a really great project that he did at while working at Cinnamon Toast. And then I think the next slide, here is an article that featured Sean because he was selected as the designer for Canada's Summer 2021 medals. And we're still waiting. He can't show anything because he's signed an NDA, but we're really excited to see the medals when the games happen, which is now looking, because of COVID, to be taking place in 2022. So yeah. Totally different path than Sean. Alicia graduated in 2015. And she went to work and is still working for Sun Life Financial in their marketing department. So just a different, I like kind of the juxtaposition of the two, because Sean has really moved around a lot. He's worked for all sorts of different, creative agencies or, retail environments, not in the retail environment, but for the design side of those. And then Alicia went kind of the totally different direction and worked for Sun Life Financial in their marketing department with, a very corporate, really, heavily branded, kind of environments. So yeah. This is Cody Thompson, and after graduation, Cody was hired by the MTO. So MTO needs, everything from information that is communicated to drivers and so forth, but also includes all of your road signs and stuff like that. So Cody has been working in a government position for the MTO, which has been serving him well, and also giving him some flexibility and freedom to develop his album covers there that are that have been featured in I'm gonna not know the right name of the magazine, but they've been featured as some of the top album designs to watch for, and all sorts of really great stuff. So he's been making some excellent waves in the music business, while also kind of having this other side of his career, which is in a government position. So Megan Hendricks graduated in 2017. After graduation, she went to work for the Brock Student Union, and the Brock Student Union typically hires our grads every year. And then they'll stay on for a year. Megan was there, I think, I want to say 2 years before she moved to the agency Loud and Clear, where she is now. And she's worked on a whole gamut of different projects. The Brock Student Union is one of a number of companies that we have kind of a program in place where they come in and they hire our grads. In some cases they're, it's a summer contract, and then they kind of see where it goes from there. And then in some cases it's longer term, but we have these ongoing relationships with companies who are seeking out our grads because they know of the talent that is coming out of the college and the program. This is Shane Saxton. He graduated in 2018, and he won first place in the user interface at Ubisoft Next. And on the next slide, I have his interface that he designed, if you're curious. You can see that. Aaron Sanders, he was working as a designer for Pilitary Estates. He's actually just moved, like within the last week, to a new agency. So he's having a blast with that, and he's enjoying the working remotely and then getting to go into the office a couple days a week now that things are starting to return to normal. Here's kind of the Canadian Olympic wine that Pilitary put out, and yeah. Gopika is, she has done kind of everything under the sun. She's taken on so many different freelance clients. Now, she graduated in 2020. So that's that was the height of the pandemic, and there was no shortage of work. She was hired by NCSAC, the Niagara College Student Association, as their designer. She was working with McKnight Inclusive Design, the agency in Niagara on the Lake. She was working as a social media designer for Crazy D's probiotic soda. And you can see like a screenshot from one of the animations that she did there. She's currently working at Loblaws as a package designer and absolutely loving it. So yeah, it's just, I think because design is so in demand, we've been really fortunate even during a pandemic that careers really didn't slow down. And in fact, for a lot of our grads and our students, things actually sped up, and there has just been a great need for really good design. All right. Um, so just some examples of some student work. So you can see some of the wonderful things our students do. Because we are Niagara College and we have a winery and a distillery and a brewery and a restaurant and all and like culinary programs and greenhouse programs and all of these wonderful things. Our students will team up with students from the viticulture programs and marketing programs and similar programs like that, to develop a product and then create all of the labels, the packaging, the entire campaign that surrounds that. So this is Christina Testana, who was our grad, and her label design won a gold in 2014 for the wine balance that her and her group had developed. And next semester, our third years will be working with the beverage business management program. I hope I'm saying that right, which is a really exciting opportunity because the students will work with students that cover all the different beverages. So they'll have an opportunity, so some of them will be doing spirits and some of them will be doing beer and some of them will be doing wine. And yeah, just a really exciting opportunity that I'm very much looking forward to. In addition to working with our own winery, our students have also worked with Pillitary. This was the winning label design that our student had created for Pillitary, and they wanted something that was going to be Canadian, but not overly, not over the top Canadian, because it was going to be sold in duty-free shops around the world. So the student created this memoir idea that way you could write on the label. No, sorry, you can go to the next one, because you can see here in the top image there, you could write your memory and savor the moment and all of that good stuff. So made for really good social media strategy in terms of the ability to share those ideas and so forth. So yeah. This is a really fun project where students took an existing object and made it into something else. So in an attempt to upcycle old skateboard decks, they turned them into pencil crayons using the wood, and then the layers of the print on top created this wonderful colored pattern on the outside of the pencil crayons. And so you can see the logo, the packaging, and the website on the mobile version anyway. Yeah. We also we actually have funding set aside for our students to enter their work into Applied Arts Magazine to be recognized among their peers, but also in the industry and be seen by the industry. So this was Erin's David Bowie digital illustration, and so she won a student award from Applied Arts for that. This is an example of a corporate identity rebrand. So they took a very well-known company like Petro-Canada, which I think, without even thinking about it, you can recognize their logo or you can picture it in your head. So that's incredibly challenging because you need to keep some ideas consistent, but then also move away. So this was a really thoughtfully kind of constructed rebrand that the student had done as a school project. Just an example of one of our grad shows. This was the retrospect show. So you can see the poster, the logo, and some buttons there, that the students had created to promote their show. And this one is from the 2015 show. You can just see the invitation on the side there. And that one was held at Tag Art Gallery. Every year our shows are held somewhere different. We have had many at Tag Art Gallery. We've had them at breweries. We've had them in Niagara Falls at Ruth Chris. Actually, I shouldn't say we have had, we were supposed to have it there. And then the pandemic hit. We have had them now online thanks to 2021. And we're looking forward to having those in person again because while it was still a wonderful experience last year online, it doesn't quite replace the in-person experience of walking around and seeing everyone's work and meeting the grads and celebrating them. So another example of pairing, our students worked with each were paired with a brewing student. And so as part of the brewing students kind of final project, they had to develop their own beer. So our students were paired with them to develop the packaging for that beer. And so this was Zach's, and he entered it into applied arts and won an award, a student award there. Another award-winning piece from the book design class. This was Megan, who I showed you, who's at Loud and Clear. This was her book for the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe that she had created and won an award. I am so sorry about that noise. And yeah, this is the joy of working from home, and I look forward very much to being back on campus. So we also work with a lot of not-for-profits. What you're seeing here is when we worked with Autism Niagara to develop t-shirts, and then the winning design was printed and sold, and all the money raised went to the organization. So a really fun project that was for a great cause. Editorial, so some examples of some of the magazines that our students have developed. Whatever they're interested in, students bring that to their project and create some just incredible editorial pieces. Working with different clients, we worked with Rose City Kids to develop their Woodshed Cafe, the logo. So here's one of the concept designs that was created for them. And then you can see that carried through onto the cup as part of an ad, and then signage within the space. We worked with Crazy D's sparkling prebiotic. So GoPika, as I mentioned, so we worked with them as a client in class, and then they ended up hiring her after graduation to kind of carry things on. So these are just a bunch of different concept designs that the students had created as when the company approached us, they were looking to do a can redesign. So these are some of the solutions that the students came up with. And these are some more solutions they came up with. There was all sorts of really great stuff. Everything from, changing the name of the product entirely, as you can see in the sip, to some kind of, very unique, different approaches. Last year, we worked with Hill Street Beverage Company, who develops, they're known for non-alcoholic wine, and they're now getting into cannabis-infused beverages. So these were point of purchase displays and hang tags shelf talkers for the wine spritzer cans for Hill Avenue, which is their sister company for their cannabis products. And then here is just a fridge wrap. You can see the website with the age gate and then the homepage. As part of the thesis project, GoPika, who I mentioned, this was hers. So she had developed this typeface called Pretzels and Skull typeface. And it's a multi-script variable typeface that was available in both Tamil and Latin script, which made it incredibly unique. So this is some of her type specimen pieces showing the type in use. And then while she was developing that typeface, she created her thesis book, which is all of her research and the kind of the process that she went through in order to develop her typeface. And she obviously illustrated that all herself. This is Nada's brand book from Corporate Identity. And so she is a jewelry designer in Thailand. And so she developed this company, which is Nathita Studio, and created a logo that worked in both English and Thai. And watercolor painted the imagery that you see there and just did a beautiful job at carrying that brand through. Another one of our students who joined us from Colombia, she wanted to create a duty-free store in the airport that would really reflect all of kind of the character of Colombia. And so Gozalo was the name of her company. And so this are just a couple pages from her brand book, as you can see her letterhead and the logo and stuff like that. More from our brand book. Patrick, uh, I really like these ones because I feel like students really brought a lot of things that were important to them and their culture. And Patrick had moved from Brazil to China and then to Canada, and so he wanted to create a Brazilian architecture firm, which he called Banana Architecture. And these are just some of the pages from his brand book. Just kind of a variety of student work. The Canada stamps that you see on the bottom there, that was the project that Patrick won the Domtar Print Award for. There's more pages from a brand book at the top. There's some information design, some posters, package design, and all sorts of great stuff that our students have been developing and creating. Beautiful illustrated moose there. A book design for the Secret Garden, album designs, websites, t-shirts, beer, magazines, information, editorial spreads. There's, all of it, package design. And then the same here, we have the Niagara College Rad Show. The illustrations that you see on the bottom right here, right there, sorry, with like, it looks kind of like the monkeys with like the very long legs and the ghetto blaster on the stump there. That was picked up by Collective Arts. So if you're familiar with Collective Arts beer, they feature a different artist on each of their beers. And so we've had 3 of our students work picked up or being used as packaging for Collective Arts. And it's just it's pretty exciting to go to the LCBO and see your students work on the shelf there, because it's always phenomenal and stands out. Yeah, so there's package design and examples of everything else there. We do have a butchery program, and so if you see the chop shop raw meat at the bottom, that was from a project that was done in conjunction with the butchery program. More package design, book design, web design, everything. And then the same here, we've got package design, lovely chocolate design, packaging, sorry, web and logos and icons there as well from branding. Pre-pandemic, we had a design-a-thon. The RGD actually holds a design-a-thon downtown Toronto, but just to make things because we're outside of Toronto, and some of our students have gone to the design-a-thon downtown, but we thought it might be nice to have something a little more local for people that might be not able to travel and so forth. So we held our first ever design-a-thon in might have actually been 2020. Because we had it in about February. So we will be starting that again as soon as we can back on campus. So it was 12 hours. Students were in groups and they designed for 12 hours straight. We provided meals and they produced some really incredible work. So if you go to the next slide. This was what we started with. This was the company 70 Below. They recently had a big blow up on TikTok because they make these like space candies and stuff. I don't know if you've heard of them, but in any event, this was the packaging that we were, provided. So the students had the job of spending 12 hours to redesign the packaging. And so here's one of the solutions that the teams put forward to redo the packaging and the logo for the company to give them an entirely new kind of look and feel and an overall identity. And another example put forward And so we are thrilled to be opening up our makerspace this winter in January. It's been a long time coming. It would have been opened probably roughly around when the pandemic started. But we have a phenomenal makerspace with presses, with 3D printers, with laser cutters, with silkscreen printers, with silks. We can actually create our silk screens right in our studio.
Hi.
Hi.
I got it to go.
Okay, honey, you have to go. You really aren't allowed to be here right now. I'll come see you after, okay, anybody?
And I got a fruit punch.
Awesome. Oh, sorry, next slide, because it'll probably help to see some of the presses. So you can see some of our presses here. We have so much wood type, metal type, tons of things to play with. So everyone can be doing letterpress printing, like I said, silk screening. We've got embroidery. We have really amazing, book binding equipment. So all sorts of stuff to basically make whatever you want. Our kind of dream is to see our students develop to develop a typeface, print it in, with our 3D printer, take it over to the old press and really kind of merge the two, the old and the new technologies. But yeah, if you want to go to the next slide, you can just see some more shots of some more of our equipment. Lots of type. There's another one of our presses. And there's just kind of a weird fisheye shot of part of half of the space when you go through that door, that you go into the larger portion of our maker space. But all of this is opening very soon, and we're super excited for all of the exciting things our students will be making. We also have Be World Ready, which is everything from class trips. There's an annual trip to New York that our students take every year. And then we also have, we've been looking at adding a class trip to Europe as well. And then you can also do a study abroad exchange. We have had students go on an exchange to Ireland, to the Cork Institute, the Cork University, and they'll study graphic design for a semester. And Megan Hendricks, who I had featured as one of our grads, went and did that and had a really great experience abroad, and really enjoyed her exchange. So all sorts of opportunities to really explore and discover, through design. And the class trip is exciting too, because in addition to just going to New York, we also go and visit different design studios and agencies in New York. And then also, obviously go to like MoMA and all of the places that you must go when you're in New York. So I think that's about it. This is just a shot from Dias for Design. This was the 2021 graphic design virtual grad show, which we held on the platform GatherTown, which kind of simulates the real world experience where you have your avatar and you get to move around. But we had phenomenal attendance, and many students were hired right out of the kind of from the grad show. So it was an overall success last year. If you are on Instagram, if you follow us at NC_graphic design, or NC graphic design. I don't know if the underscore is still there, but anyway, we're NC graphic design. And we would love to keep in touch with you. And you can see all of the work that our students have been up to, including all of those collective arts cans, including the current client projects that our students are taking on, and all of that good stuff. And so that's it from me. I'm going to pass it on to Jen, who can tell you about her experience, as she is a third-year student in the program. And from my perspective, this is what we're trying to do. But what she has experienced is probably much more rich and valuable for you to hear. So I'll pass it on.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Jessie, so much. Hi, I'm Jen. I'm a third year at NC right now, graphic design program. And I just wanted to explain a little bit of my piece and what I've been through throughout the years so far. And so I wanted to start off with like why I chose NC in the first place. I had an interest in illustration primarily and drawing. You know, throughout high school, I was like, oh yeah, I'm an artist, whatever. And I really put it aside, went to Brock University for literature, decided that wasn't for me, and ended up here. And I thought, you know, even if it's not specifically illustration, I'll definitely pick up knowledge that I can apply to jobs in the future. So yeah, it was local. It was a nice place. My brother had been there and it felt like a good option for me. Um, but like what I love about Niagara College, like since I've been here for 3 years or whatever, is a lot of the broad options that it offers. I find that like Jesse had mentioned, oh yeah, like you cover all the fundamentals, and that's like super true. You go through typography, you go through drawing. And I thought I was going to be super into drawing, but then I ended up being into web design. You get to learn how to animate some things, you get to learn how to do motion graphics, packaging, like literally everything. And it's all about self-expression and how you can really speak your language through your work and kind of express your own ideas while teaching people. And I think that's like super powerful because it gives you a sense of individuality. But yeah, in terms of the program itself, it's really hands-on. Like I said that I'd been to Brock before and it was all textbook, right? Like you'd go to a lecture, sit there for 3 hours and then leave. But I feel like at Niagara College, you sit there with your teachers, like in person. Well, not anymore, but it's coming soon. You'll be in person with your teachers and you'll be able to ask them questions and like, hey, how can I do this? And they'll come and help you and tell you and teach you. And that's super valuable, which kind of segues into what I really like about like the faculty. The teachers aren't just your teachers. I find that they're your friends. And it's interesting because they share the same passion that you do, and you can talk to them about anything. I feel like throughout my experience, I learned that being valuable or being honest is really valuable because like you could be suffering, you could be like having a hard time, you could be procrastinating like I do. And as long as you open up to them, they'll be like totally helpful and kind. And, you know, there's a teacher named Pete, and he's just a delight to have on a Wednesday, you know, in the middle of the week. He's hilarious, he's great, and he's so funny. But yeah, I feel like, especially Jessie, for example, like I remember I was having a hard time and like I messaged her like, hey, I don't think I'll be able to have this done. And yeah, she was like, oh, no problem. Like we can extend it a couple days. And it got to the point in my second year where I wouldn't hand anything in without it being late. So I actually reached out to the mental health facility and I said, hey, I think I have a bit of an issue. Can you help me out here? And within 2 weeks, they had a paper for me that said, hey, you could show this to your teachers and they'll have no choice but to give you like a little bit of breathing room, which really, really helped me get comfortable. And so the faculty is there to help you, and don't be afraid to ask people questions. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, it gets a little bit busy, but I think that the most important part of the graphic design program is that you're able to find your individuality within your art, find what helps you, specialize, and then like learn how to really speak your language without losing, I don't know, your business kind of thing. Like you're making money here, and I think that's really great. So thank you so much. And if you want to ask me anything, like feel free.
Sorry, I just realized I was talking and I had muted myself, but thank you so much, Jen. That's
No, yeah,
awesome.
sure.
Pete really is a total, he's like our program mascot. I don't know, but yeah, he's been kind of really driving the makerspace as well. And yeah, and just will definitely make learning fun. I think there's definitely an entertainment factor there. I believe he
Oh,
calls
I wanted to mention too, like the fact that you like get to hold what you make. Like you can design something on a computer and look at it at a screen, but the fact that you can like hold your creation and really take it in is like super nice, and it's free.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's awesome. That's so great. It's so wonderful to hear student feedback. Is there any questions or about anything that we've shared with you so far?
Yeah, and things are just coming up in my head right now, so I'm just going to keep talking, I guess. But something else that's important, I feel, is the fact that we cover accessibility and we make sure that, you know, what we make is available to everyone. We cover like different languages. We cover the color of text so that it's legible to everyone. We could cover like Braille, even like anything. And I feel like that's really important just to make sure that whatever you make can be seen and acknowledged by anyone.
Yeah, we do have a lot of fun with what we do, and it will be and being back on campus will change things. It's been I think it's been I hope it's still been a positive experience for our students being online for the past little while, but um, there is kind of no replacement for that face-to-face experience and that, um, and to be able to like, yeah, like work on something together and have that kind of instant kind of feedback from one another. So
For sure.
um,
And
yeah.
the small amount of people, like the small classes, it makes everything very personal and friendly and safe, really. Because, in a big group, you don't really want to share your ideas so much. But when it's small and you see each other every day, you kind of make like that connection and you don't feel so afraid about like sharing your work. So it's very nice and it's a comfortable space for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Because yeah, you have to kind of put your ideas out there, and that can be a little bit intimidating if there was like a huge group of people. But it is kind of a nice kind of small class size, which usually tends to find or develop into these nice tight knit groups of friends and classmates and stuff. But yeah,
And
and
another thing, sorry,
oh,
another thing I would like to actually highlight is Jen mentioned the services that are offered to students. Many students aren't aware of the services that are offered, but definitely look into that, take advantage of them. They are there for you to take advantage of. So we have student health services. So like if you ever need to book an appointment or anything like that, not only just your faculty are great and helpful, but you also have those services there for you guys readily available for you guys to use as well.
I would say that too, that between like faculty and I would say all of the support system at the college, our job and our goal is to see you succeed and have a good experience. And the post-secondary education is such it's a monumental step. It's a huge part of your life. It should be a positive experience, and it should be hard and challenging, but it should be fulfilling and rewarding. And I guess we're all rooting for our students to do well, to excel. And I keep in touch with well, virtually all of our grads. We have a Facebook alumni group, which all of our grads, usually around third year, everyone joins. Sometimes they join earlier, because then our current students can reach out to our graduated students, sorry, or our alumni, and they can ask questions. And what we're really finding is that our students are working somewhere, they're moving on, and then they're posting the jobs for the students that are kind of coming up behind them to move into those roles, because the employers are thrilled that they've had a fantastic experience with the Niagara grad, and they kind of they want someone that's just like them. So it's been really great to see kind of our alumni really helping out our grads and all of the different experiences that our grads have had. So it's great. Yeah.
For sure. And it sounds kind of cheesy, but like Niagara College offers a lot of workshops. And since you're in Niagara College right now, I highly suggest you take all of those opportunities and like do them while you're here, right? Because for time management, for example, I was the person who kind of breezed through high school and didn't learn anything, like no learning strategies. Or so when it came time to really do college and kind of structure myself that way, I didn't know how. So I took a couple workshops and it really helped me. And it won't help just through school. It's like a lifetime thing, right? So especially with freelancing later on. And I think that you have to take advantage of what you have here. And there are a lot of things. So
That's great. Yeah. I don't even realize that they have, like, we see kind of the faculty side of things. So that's fantastic that they're offering those for students, because yeah, I even think of my kids. I'm like, oh yes, they, how do I get them in there? They're young, but they could use that help at any point, right? Like those are, yeah, life skills, like you mentioned. So I think we mentioned you don't need to have your own computer, although a lot of students do. And if you do decide to get your own computer, it doesn't have to be a Mac. Our labs are Mac based, but I'm just thinking of some of the common questions that do kind of come through. Everything is compatible type, like all your fonts and everything, and all of the software is compatible. So if PC is something you have and you're like, you can totally continue working with a PC. There's nothing wrong with having skills on both platforms. If you're in the market and you're looking and Macs are an option for you, then it is a seamless transition, but it doesn't really make a difference whether either way. So that's kind of something to be aware of. In terms of trying to think, there's like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of anything else that we haven't covered.
Oh, in first year, you have to buy a lot of art supplies, because you have illustration and you have a painting class later on. And in terms of that one large purchase where you get all of your basics, you're set for the rest of the program. Like I've never had to make any more like large purchases or anything besides like my parking ticket. But yeah, in terms of like buying things, like don't worry about it. Like first year is the only hill that you have to really get over, and then you're good.
Oh, that's great to know too. Yeah. Yeah, and you'll get a kit list with everything that you'll kind of need for that first little bit, and then kind of throughout. Yeah, that's great to know too. Yeah, parking passes are available. Trying to think what else. Yeah, it's a small school. Yeah, I don't think you get lost there too easily. It's not overwhelming in size by any means. And it's a pretty friendly place.
Kind of weird critique, but it's also very clean there, which is nice. It's a clean place because some places not so clean. And Niagara College, you could tell that they really take care of their space.
Oh, that's good to know too. Yeah. Trying to think, what else would you need to know?
I think you really touched on everything.
Oh, I just one more thing. Do you need to be good at drawing? No, you do not. If you are, it is something that you can use in your personal style and as your part of your kind of aesthetic. But we have plenty of students that do not draw at all. You'll learn different skills like through like color theory has a painting component, and there is drawing where you understand perspective and stuff like that. But it's very technical. So if you love drawing, you can bring that in. If you don't like drawing, but you're interested in the rest of it, it still works. And you won't do poorly if you're like, yeah, I can't draw. And in fact, some of our students that, said they can't draw have such a unique kind of quirky style now that they've developed, that they actually have like really cool illustrations that they're putting together that, when they came into the program, they were like, I don't draw. And then there's some people that will not draw at all. Everything will be like, either like, heavily photography based and so forth. And that's totally okay too. So we play to your strengths because design is so versatile like that. So. Awesome. Yeah, I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else, although my email, which I will just put in the chat here, is jdemone at Niagara. I want to make sure I spell this right. college.ca. So I am the program coordinator as well as I teach in the graphic design program. So if you have any questions about the program at all, feel free to send me an email and I will, I'd be happy to respond. Yeah, and follow us on Instagram and you'll kind of see all of the wonderful things that our students are up to. And yeah, I try to be quite active on there, but I'm not doing always the best job. Lately it's been a little slow. So I'll try to put some fresh content up there soon. So there's more to see.